Hello, I'm Jeffrey Walensky, publisher for Federal News Network, here in the Federal News Network newsroom with Rich Brady. He's the CEO of SDFM. SDFM is the new name for ASMC. Rich, after 75 years, ASMC found it was time to make a change to something pretty important, your name. Tell us a little bit about what happened in that process and how you landed on SDFM.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much, Jeffrey, for having me on today to talk about this. So it started about 2.5 years ago. I became the CEO of the American Society of Military Comptrollers, and one of the first things I wanted to take a look at was ASMC's brand. It just looked like it needed a little bit of a refreshing. So we didn't go into this with the intent to actually change the name. We were just going to take a look at the logo, the taglines, maybe update it a little bit. But that kicked off about a 2-year effort. Started out with a number of surveys, focus groups, market analysis, competitor analysis. And when the company that we partnered with to take a look at this came back to us, they said, what has come back from all of this is that we are recommending a name change, that the name American Society of Military Comptrollers doesn't resonate with your members today, or probably your members in the future, the people you're trying to draw in. And specifically, it was the terms military comptroller, because the vast majority of the people who work in the defense financial management profession today are not in the military, and they're not comptrollers.
So Rich is the host of the Federal News Network podcast, The Business of Defense. On The Business of Defense, you've talked to a lot of the contractor community. In this name change, you're serving the overall defense financial management community. Can you frame what is encompassing the defense financial management community and how they work together with industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So to talk about this, we have to go back to the beginning again. 1948, ASMC was founded. Actually, we were not ASMC when we started. We were the Society of Military Accountants and Statisticians. We became ASMC in 1955. We're not sure what happened to the statisticians, but they're still out there somewhere. But we focused on military comptrollership. Over the roughly 70 years after that, as the profession evolved, ASMC continued to evolve. We had new products, new services, but one thing kind of remained the same throughout that time, and that is our name. Again, the profession changed, the workforce changed, the makeup of the workforce changed. It's now not only just military, but it's a military, government civilian, commercial civilian, and corporate. And the function of what people do in defense financial management changed. In 1948 or 1955, the majority of people were comptrollers. Now we've got accountants, budgeteers, data analysts, data scientists, auditors. It's a much broader field today than it was at that time. So this name change, this rebranding, is really intended to be more inclusive of that broader diversity in the defense financial management community, to include those on the corporate side, the commercial side, and the government side.
Today, a lot of people are talking about statistics, statisticians, data analysis, but we find that a lot of those functions are in the IT aspect of the house. Tell me more in the financial management community how that directly relates to some of the government agencies fulfilling their mission, and where SDFM fits in bringing everybody together within that community.
Yeah, absolutely. Accounting, finance, comptrollership, it's a highly technical field today. I like to say when I started out in the early 90s, the job of a comptroller or a financial manager was the standard capturing, recording, and reporting of financial information. Today, we largely have systems that do all of that for us, and they do a very good job. That gives us more time as defense financial managers to do higher value added activities for our organization. The data analysis, the data visualizations, the scenario planning, the forecasting, really forward looking for our organizations and not always looking in the rear view mirror, just capturing, recording, and reporting. So again, a highly technical field today compared to what it was just 30 years ago.
Rich, you're a decorated service member. You were in the Marine Corps for 32 years. During that time, there was a period where you were overseeing 250,000 processing of people ascending into different careers within different military branches. I can't even begin to understand all that would go into making sure those people get paid, making sure those people have the funds in place to buy the things that are needed. How does SDFM help its members to help the government do that mission? And where does the government community rely on the contractor to make sure that when Rich Brady was in the Marines, he had the tools to be able to do what he needed to do?
No, absolutely. In the profession, we like to say your proximity to the battlefield does not determine your contribution to the fight. Everybody in this field, whether you're out there on the front lines or you're in the Pentagon or you're a contractor out in Tyson's Corner, you have the ability to impact what takes place. So if you think about those soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marine, Coast Guardmen, Space Force Guardians who are out there deployed, they need to get paid. They need to get paid twice a month. Their families rely on that as well. They need to get fed while they're over there. So on the battlefield, a lot of support services are provided by contracts. All those contracts have to be paid. And longer term, people in the defense financial management community are looking at long-term modernization. How do we balance all of the requirements that the services have with the available resources to develop a defendable budget that ultimately results in military capability long-term? So, and to do that, it takes the full team of military, government civilian, commercial civilian, and corporate to make all that happen.
So let's jump into combat capability. A lot of times people are not thinking an accountant and combat capability coming together, but you've talked to me about how the Society for Defense Financial Management is helping to bridge the gap for helping people to understand where accounting financial management comes into a warfighter having a capability in the field. We're looking in today's society right now, lots of things taking place on a fast-paced basis. At discrete locations, they need technology, they need equipment. How does that compute back to somebody in the profession of accounting helping to make sure that happens?
Yeah, I think I would go back to our mission. Our mission is really threefold. One, we promote the education, training, and certification of the defense financial management. We help the community, the profession, upskill so that they are up to date with the latest technology and they can provide that support with modern technology in modern ways. A second part of our mission is we help drive financial transformation in the defense sector. And what that really entails is bringing the commercial side together with the government side. The fact of the matter is most financial transformation, financial modernization ideas, they originate on the commercial side and migrate over to the government side. So we help create the forums where we bring them together. In some respects, I like to say SDFM is the market maker. We create this market for the government and commercial to come together, identify opportunities, create solutions, mitigate risk, ultimately to create capabilities for our nation's defense. And finally, the final part of our mission is upholding all of our ethical and professional standards, which is the foundation of any profession, as being ethical and compliant with all laws and regulations, because ultimately we are stewards of the taxpayer's dollar.
You hit on a lot there. One of the things you talked about that's really important to our audience right now, upskilling, training, repurposing jobs. You mentioned that a lot of the jobs that maybe even jobs that you did in your early career are obsolete now based off of the technological changes that have taken place. How and where is the training taking place for the government official? And is that specifically because they're a member of the organization? Is that one of the biggest reasons that somebody would join? How does that look like for?
Absolutely, yeah. When we talk about what's the value proposition to be part of ASMC, you kind of have to look at it, or SDFM, you have to look at it whether we're talking individual members or corporate members, because it's a little different. On the individual member side, most of our members are coming to ASMC for that education, training, and certification. That's what they want. Ultimately, they want to advance in their careers. They want the promotions, new jobs, create new opportunities for them for their career. So that's what they're focused on, that education, training, and certification. On the corporate side, it's a little different. It's not to say they don't care about education, training, and certification, but they're looking for those networking opportunities. Again, the opportunity to engage with people in government, to find out what their requirements are, what are some of the challenges they're dealing with, and how they can come in with solutions to meet those challenges or create opportunities for the government.
I know we just finished one of your biggest events, PDI, took place about a week or so ago, and that's one of the bigger training events that you do. Are there some others that are the most important ones for the organization or for some of the financial management community we're talking to today?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me start there with the PDI. It is the premier financial management training event for our profession. We were out in Phoenix this year, about 5,300 in-person attendees, another 3,000 online attending virtually, 112 educational workshops, 80 exhibit booths with our corporate members, 6 plenary sessions with high-level speakers from throughout government, and a lot of networking opportunities. Again, trying to meet that value proposition for our individual members and our corporate members. But that's just one event we do each year. We've got in the fall, we've got a data analytics and decision support virtual summit that takes place in October. Again, fully virtual event, focus on, as the name implies, data analytics and decision support. What's the latest in technology that we can use and employ to improve decision making in the field? And then in the winter months, in January, we have our newest event, which is a program budget summit, where we focus on the key events, the key imperatives driving financial management for for this year, that year. And so those are our 3 anchor events each year. And then at the kind of the corporate level, we do a lot of corporate breakfasts, roundtables, and our chapters. We have 105 chapters all across the United States, in Europe, and in Southeast Asia that are holding monthly events, quarterly events, and they even have their own annual mini PDIs.
That's tremendous. I mean, we're talking about a massive organization that has been built out over the years, that you're charting the course for the next 75 years. I don't know that we'll be around to see it, but if you could put in your belief of the name change from ASMC to SDFM and how that sets your organization up for the long-term future, where do you see this going? How do you see the financial management community getting even better than what ASMC did for it in the past, and how SDFM drives the future?
Yeah, if I'm looking, 75 years from now, if I'm kind of looking back and say, what has SDFM become? We want to be, again, the premier association for the defense financial management community that provides the content, competency, and community to provide increased capabilities for our national defense. That's ultimately, we've got to keep the end state in mind, and that is more military capability, improved national defense for our nation. But how do we do that for our individual members? Well, our early careerists, we want to provide them security in their careers. When they start out knowing that there's a path for me here that I can make a profession out of. For the mid-level careerists, they really want security in their trajectory. They want to know they're on the right path. And for the executives and the retirees, they want security in their legacy. They want to know that they've left something behind, something positive. And ultimately, for everybody, it's about that security and national defense. And so that's what we want to be known for, enabling that.
That's Rich Brady, the CEO of SDFM. You can hear from him once a month with The Business of Defense, a podcast that's part of the Federal News Network community of podcasts. I'm Jeffrey Walensky. We're in the Federal News Network newsroom.